I'm going to be brutally honest, but I think when I was in high school, I wasn't really appreciative of like a lot of things that were stable in my life. So like even like seeing your friends every day because of classes is like a quality that you don't get in college. Like in college, you have to like initiate the meeting or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, and I think in high school, I was generally kind of like always stressed and like always unhappy. So in the moment, I like wanted to graduate as soon as possible. But now that I've like graduated and like I'm thinking about all like the relationships that I made and all the like life experience that it gave me, I think I'll give it like a 8 out of 10 overall. Yeah.
Mm, It's hard for me to give a numerical rating because it's not like I have any other metric I can compare this against. Like I only lived one high school experience. So if it's okay, I'll just give like a qualitative rating.
Mhm.
So I describe high school as a it was an experience I definitely don't regret at all. Like I think everything that I did in high school somehow played a role in getting me where I am today, whether that be in terms of like academics or college admissions or just personal growth and development. So I think I wouldn't really change anything, but at the same time, I would not go through this again. Not to say the high school was horrible or anything, but I'm sure most high schoolers would relate to this. But it's just a period of a lot of stress, and even though it's not like overt, the competition, like the atmosphere is still there, and I feel like it's nice to be able to catch a break from that. So yeah.
I think I would rate it an 8 out of 10, which I think is a pretty generous score. I would say the -2 points account for like the occasional burnouts that all of us face and some like drama that everyone faces. But I think I'm starting to realize that I'm quite an inherently optimistic person. So I tend not to like overthink my problems or go deeper down the hole of like beating myself up for something I've done bad or something. So um, I think overall it was a pretty good experience. I loved my friends in high school, and there were a lot of good teachers that I turned to. Yeah, I think it was overall pretty positive.
Do you have a favorite teacher in mind when you say that?
Um, I would say I have like three teachers that really left a mark in like high school life. Those would be Mr. Kowalski, Mr. Workinson, and Miss Grant.
I think definitely the freedom aspect, because you're given a lot more free time. And even though my classes haven't started, they actually start like on Tuesday. Um, I still feel like, yeah, you're just given so much more freedom because you have to take care of yourself. Like no one's gonna take care of you for you. Like if you were living at home with your parents or something, like you have to make sure you don't miss meals or like do your laundry and like everything.
I think this might be a common answer, but I'm gonna say the freedom. And I think it's common for a reason because that's definitely the biggest difference that I felt, and I'm sure that plenty of my peers have also felt. So I feel like there's a huge difference in freedom in a lot of different aspects, but I'm gonna focus on academics because that's where I felt it the most strongly. So in high school, we were all used to kind of having set guidelines in place for us to follow, and we were kind of led to follow in that direction. Like, for example, there were like certain criteria that we had to meet in terms of the courses we were supposed to take just to meet graduation requirements. But in college, it's nothing like that. We do have, again, this is going to differ depending on the college, but from my personal experience, based on my school's curriculum right now, there are requirements in place, but they're really flexible and broad. And so the courses that you can take are like almost entirely just up to you and your interest, or you do have to fulfill your major requirements, but outside of that, you I love that you get to take classes that you're actually really interested in. And some classes you can just take for fun without any sort of other like ulterior motive attached to it, I guess. And that's been really nice.
Mm-hmm. And how is your college experience so far? I know it's like not been that long since you've moved in, probably, but like how do you think it differs from your high school experience so far?
I think it's been like 3 weeks since I've moved in here. It's definitely super different, both socially and academically and like lifestyle wise. Socially because first of all, like I'm meeting everyone, like the people I'm meeting are all like completely new to me. So it's like a fresh new start with my social circle. Um, but it's not just the college thing. I think that this is a more like US thing, but small talk is such a big part of the culture here. So I kind of had a hard time adjusting to that culture just because small talk, like you would not do that in Korea, especially with like strangers you see at a cafe or something. So um, I think that does create a pretty welcoming environment. Also, like I've been introducing my name, my like concentration plans, my dorm to like 1,000 people that I met here. So that's been pretty draining, especially during orientation week. But um, yeah, everyone's been pretty like friendly and open and welcoming. Um, Academically, I think it's I do think it can be a lot more overwhelming than high school. Because even though we only have 4 classes this semester, um, they're a lot more I guess, intense, and it goes a lot deeper into the content than like our high school classes would in such a short time. Um, but the classes are a lot more like there's so many like subtopics that are like the the entire topic the class goes through for a semester. Like instead of just being a math class or like a science class, it's more like um, very interesting subtopics. Like for example, one of the classes I'm taking is about human nature, which is really interesting because you wouldn't find those classes in high school.
So unlike many SIS students, I didn't really participate in a team sport. And I think for my friends that took up a lot of time, but for me, I would just say my extracurriculars, I think a big one was Higher Times because you're like constantly in the draft cycle,
Mm-hmm.
and like as you progress, like you also have to like edit and stuff. So I would say that took up a lot of time. Also, I did like a student led magazine outside of school, that also required me to like edit quite a bit. So that took up a lot of time. I did a volunteering service on the weekends and stuff. So that took up some time. I would say those 3 things take up the most time, yeah.
It was definitely music. I feel like people who know me, that's probably the first thing that they know about me. Um, yeah, so I play the violin, and that was definitely my largest time commitment. I think for a time, like in my earlier years of high school, I spent a lot more time on music than school, so it was a significant commitment.
Definitely. Okay, and what would you say were your like major like extracurricular activities in high school, and essentially what took up the majority of your time?
I think newspaper, it was definitely a big part of my high school life. Um, yeah, but as much as it was very time consuming and uh yeah, as much as it was time consuming, it was also, like I said, it was the constant in my life that sort of helped me set my daily routine. Um, I would spend at least like 30 minutes to an hour for Tiger Times, whether it be like editing articles or writing a draft or, like managing more logistical stuff. Um, so I think that was definitely the biggest extracurricular at school. Um, Another extracurricular that I really enjoyed outside of school was I participated in this voluntary program where you get to um, help with this rooftop gardening project for Korean like native crops and grains. Um, it was really enjoyable because it was a 1 hour and a half car ride to that place, but it was also sort of a nice escape from my usual. Um, and I got to meet a bunch of like older women who are super interested in like gardening or farming. And it was just a really nice escape from the whole like the academic pressure that everyone faces. So I feel like that was also pretty enjoyable and memorable. Yeah.
Mm.
But like, yeah, obviously I'm like super grateful for all the work I did in high school, like working hard in high school, because without it, I wouldn't have been able to come to such a great university and have all the resources available to me. Yeah.
Mm.
I think every sort of decision I had to make was beneficial. Like every club that I did, every class I took, even if I ended up hating that club or that class, I think there's still value in that because I mean, at least I learned like, what I hate, what I dislike, you know? And I think that is actually a pretty significant gain. But one thing that I don't think was like worth it was uh, studying too much, I guess. I did try maybe a little too hard just to raise like a singular test grade by 1 percentage point. And I think that is kind of meaningless. So because I had to sacrifice other elements of my life, like maybe my social life, and I do regret that because yeah, if there's one thing I regret, it's not being able to um bond with other people as much as I would have liked.
I would say uh early on in my high school career, I was really scared to try new stuff that was like outside of my comfort zone, especially trying out for leadership positions. I didn't try out for any in my freshman year, like when we were moving on to sophomore year. I regretted that a lot just because I saw a lot of my friends do it and didn't it wasn't that bad for them. Um, Also, uh, I was really scared of public speaking, which is why I didn't try out for leadership positions. But after having done that, I realized that it's not a big deal, having to like lead a club or an organization. So, yeah, I think that's my biggest thing that I would have done differently. Just trying to leave my comfort zone, reminding myself that it's like not a big deal. It's still high school. There's a lot of like room for you to improve and change your career or um yeah, like develop new skill sets. So I think that's the biggest thing.
I just talked it out with friends, um, mostly friends of different ages because like my peers were all stressed about their own stuff. So
Yeah.
I would talk to people like older than me, and that was nice because they had been through the process before and they were done with it and they were like having the time of their lives in college. So
um I would say when I was like deeply distressed and like very overwhelmed with everything, I would say I just like lied in bed and I didn't do anything. because I feel like that's the only way to like take a break from everything. When I'm like trying to find like a small break from like work or from homework, then I would usually turn to the piano. It's been a hobby since I was in elementary slash middle school. And I usually just look for like sheet music for songs that I really enjoy. Mostly like Studio Ghibli songs, just because I love the soundtracks there. That was pretty stress relieving because it's really satisfying to play songs that you enjoy on your own. So that was my biggest thing, I think. But if I was like, again, if I was like dying in like, I don't know, like a load of work, then I would just not do anything, just lay down still. Yeah.
Senior year, the only thing you really get that stressed about is college apps.
Mm,
I think honestly the transition from sophomore to junior might have been the hardest because I feel like once you start junior year, you like start feeling a sense of urgency about like your future, and like your junior year grades are the ones they look at the most, or like whatever. So there's definitely a lot of pressure put on people in their junior year. Especially also because like you're taking multiple AP classes for the first time too. You really need to like manage your time well and everything.
yeah.
So yeah, I think that would be the most stressful transition.
The transition from freshman year to sophomore year was not that difficult for me, but the transition from sophomore to junior year, that was tough. Because I went from like one AP to three APs. And some of my peers were taking four, but I took three. But one of them was AP seminar, and that was a huge time commitment. And like that's the favorite class that I took in high school. But also it was super rigorous, and it was a kind of rigor that I had never before seen or expected. So
Ooh, I think going into freshman year was like one of the most difficult times for me. Um, just because I felt like I think a lot of my friends said the transition from middle school to ninth grade wasn't that bad, but it was pretty bad for me because like nothing major happened, but I was just um like the amount of pressure and like yeah, pressure is different because middle school, nothing really matters, nothing really counts. But in freshman year, I had that same mindset for a while, and then I realized that like it's not the same. Like it does count towards my future. So that was a pretty big turning point for me. There were a lot of times where I was like socially and academically drained, but obviously it's freshman year. It was all right at the end.
I've been at a law school library to study once. It was super nice in there.
How is it like living in such a communal space, like of people who's not related to you?
Mm. There are like ups and downs, definitely. um, I mean, it does feel kind of weird to have like three other people just in your like house
Yeah.
that you just met like 3 weeks ago. But it's a great bonding experience. So I feel like I've known my suite mates, like because we live in suites, like they're basically houses without bathrooms or kitchens. Anyway, so I feel like I've known them for months, and it hasn't even been a month.
I really do love the campus because we are right by Lake Michigan, and like it is so big. It just looks like the ocean. And I've been taking like walks and runs across like the lake, and it's just so scenic. And okay, and this might be like insane advice, but honestly, like for college,
Mhm.
if you're working hard, I feel like it'll all work out. Like that I like this is it's like it's really bad because I'm already in college, so I know it might seem like really selfish of me,
Yeah.
but I feel like everyone is gonna get in like somewhere, like at least one school. And
Mhm.
if you really don't like it that much, you can transfer, but that it's like a lot of work. But anyways, you will go somewhere, and college apps, it's gonna be like a super stressful period of time in your life. But I really feel like, yeah, you're gonna be okay. That's just the message. You're gonna be good. You're gonna be good. Yeah, I really don't have that much advice. I feel like I'm still in high school kind of, and this is just like a summer camp that I'm like making friends at. But yeah,
From like a college admissions kind of standpoint, I guess, like it's okay to be it's okay to stay true to yourself and your interests. Like, it's okay to like what you do and to do what you like. Because I feel like a lot of people are pressured to feel like there's just one path that you must take to get where you want for college. And I think that is sort of toxic because it leads people to like compete with each other even more because it feels like everyone's trying to do the same thing. But I just want to emphasize that that's not as true as like our community makes it out to be. I know we're in like an isolated bubble and like everyone's super focused on college and it might seem that way, but like there are multiple different paths you can take um to get you where you want to be. And it's okay to be interested in things and it's okay to like pursue your passions because a lot of the time like colleges want to see that. They want you to really delve into the things you're passionate about and because like intellectual vitality, that's a quality that a lot of colleges value. And so as long as you can show that, you're good. Like it's okay. You don't have to like worry that you are not stressed and you're not hating your life. It's okay.
I see. What advice would you give to current high school students of SIS?
Advice, I would say, um, for me personally, it was helpful to compartmentalize every like different aspect of my life into different times. So I would have a time to socialize, to study, to take some personal time. And I realized that later on because early on I was sort of trying to multitask everything and like I mushed everything all together. Like I would socialize while studying or I would try to rest while studying, which is like doesn't make sense. So later on, once I like came up with a more functional schedule, like a daily routine, and I divided up all those different aspects of my life. I feel like my life became a lot more organized and more manageable and more rewarding just because like it felt like I wasn't wasting as much time as I did in the past. So that would be one advice. Um, Another one would be to ask for help when you need it. Um, like I said before, I was kind of scared of like speaking up. Um, so asking for help when I was stuck in a problem was like not my first instinct to do. I would like spend a lot of time just trying to figure it out alone, which kind of wasted a lot of my time. I could have figured out my problems a lot more early on if I just like asked a teacher or like a friend to help me with something. So I think getting in the habit of asking questions and asking for help is a really important skill.
And lastly, like on a social aspect, like would you give any advice?
Social aspect. Okay. I think drama and like friendship problems are inevitable. So I don't think I can give advice on like how to avoid problems, but how to deal with problems. I think it's a mindset thing. Like if you have social problems or um you're in like a big conflict with a friend and you feel like you're gonna lose all of your friends and be friendless for like the rest of your high school life, like that's not gonna happen. I think it's really comforting to think that like everything is temporary in high school, like nothing stays permanent, and even if you're like friendless for a while, like you're gonna find new friends soon, so like it's not, you're gonna be fine. And I don't know, just reminding yourself that like that it's gonna end soon if you're stuck in like drama, then I feel like you can come out a lot more stronger and push through it better. Yeah.
I think just appreciate your time at SIS. Like I know everyone has that like, oh, I want to get out quickly mentality,
Yeah.
but I like if you look back on it, like I'm still 17 and I spent like 7 years at SIS. So that's like almost half of my life I spent at SIS. So yeah, like just appreciate,
Yeah.
just try to appreciate, you know, like if nothing else, like the people, like maybe like a teacher that you're close with, or your friends, or like your teammates, or like whoever. And also, if anyone sees this video and they like want to talk to me about something, or they want to like ask questions, like please feel free to do so. Especially juniors, I've had some juniors talk to me about the college app process, and yeah, so just if I mean some seniors, sorry, oh my god, I'm just used to calling them juniors. Yeah. Yeah, so just feel free to reach out if anyone ever needs anything, and just try to be appreciative.
Um, I guess um after coming to college, I've realized how small of a bubble high school can be. Not in like a bad way, but like it's just the way it is, just because there's a lot fewer students, all from like relatively similar backgrounds. Um, so I guess if to the students who are like not having the best time of their lives in high school, I would say that that's not the case for wherever you like everywhere else in the world. Like you're gonna find much better environments to thrive in if this place is not for you. But also for the students who are like having the time of their lives right now, I feel like you should really just enjoy the moment. Like um, college will probably be even better than that, just because there's so many like different people you get to meet, so many like impressive classes you can take with like amazing professors. So I guess just knowing that high school is just one small part of your life, reminding yourself that nothing is gonna like last, which can be a little scary, but like also pretty comforting. So yeah, I think that would be my advice.
Yeah.